So today I got new components. Let's see what I got and how they perform today on Nelly's Nerd Cave. Hello and welcome back to Nelly's Nerd Cave. I'm Neil, and on this channel I share my love of tech and gaming with tips, tutorials and reviews based on what I love, computing. So let's have a look. Today I'm unboxing some new tech that I've bought, and to me it's literally brand new tech. So first up, let's see what I bought. And firstly, I bought this bundle. Came with a motherboard and a processor. And what I got here is, first of all, the ASUS TUF Gaming B650-Plus. And this is an AM5 motherboard. Now, to me, AM5 is a new technology. I've never used it before. It also came paired with a Ryzen 7 7700X, and both of these literally brand new. I have used Intel chips of very different sorts, ones with pins, one without pins, mainly used AMD with its PGA configuration, but never AM5. So I'm really excited to see what's going on. So this is the Ryzen 7 7700X. This is a CPU that is Zen 4 architecture. It has 8 cores, 16 threads, it supports DDR5, and it has a fantastic base clock of 4.5 gigahertz. So I expect this to really, hopefully, outperform the 10900K that I normally use on my gaming PC. The great thing here is that most of these that I've seen seem to have integrated graphics, so that's really good. I don't need to worry about a graphics card anymore. However, I will be using one when I do this one. So the CPU came as part of the bundle pack, and this is the motherboard. This is the ASUS TUF Gaming B650-Plus. This looks like a tremendous motherboard. So let's have a quick look and get it out of the box and see what we've got here. Okay, so looks like an absolutely fantastic monster of a motherboard. Here's the motherboard as always. What else is in the box? Any stickers or anything? Oh, there's 2 SATA cables there, so it's got SATA capability. We have like a rubber pad, which looks like that's for the M.2 screws. Normal paraphernalia that comes with it. Yeah, stickers. I always like a good set of stickers, and they are the nice TUF Gaming ones. So this is the TUF Gaming one by ASUS. I haven't gone for anything fancy with this. I just went with standard motherboard. There is ARGB as part of this, but I'm probably not going to be using it. Wow. Look at them heat sinks on the side of that. These are absolutely massive heat sinks. And you can see that we have these heat sinks here surrounding the VRMs, and they're absolutely huge. It has 4 DDR5 slots here, and next to these that you can hardly see are actually 3 headers just here. So you can see right here there are 3 headers, and with those headers we have an AIO one, which is just for your AIO, so it's got to be 100% power all the time. Plus you have 2 normal PWM fan headers. This is really good for those fans or those air coolers that you put on that have 2 fans, where you need to make sure that you have both of them powered using PWM. Normally they come with a splitter, but you could quite easily and effectively plug them both in, or you could plug your air cooler in with one for the fans and then one for fans at the top of the case, whatever you decide with this particular configuration here. There are another 2 fan headers at the bottom of the motherboard as well, just across the bottom here. We have 2 PCI X16 slots. The top one is PCIe Gen 4 and it is at 16 times the speed, and the bottom one is a Gen 4 but it's only an X4. We also have 2 X1 slots, which is great for any additional things that you may have, such as a graphics card, such as a network card if you're wanting to put something like 10 gig in there or something like that. We also have here, at the top, we have a fantastic little heatsink here, and this is for a PCIe Gen 5 by 4 M.2 slot, and then under here we have 2 further PCIe 4 by 4 slots here as well. Now when I do my build, I'm not going to use the top one, I'm just going to use the bottom ones because I've only got a Gen 4 NVMe, so I'm only going to be using that. We also have on here SATA ports as well, which is pretty cool. So this is also a really good board because on the back we have plenty of USBs. We have a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port. We have 2 3.2 Gen 1s and 2 3.2 Gen 2s. These ones unfortunately are USB 2. This is where you're probably going to be using your mouse or your keyboard, plainly and simply because they need it. You've got a BIOS flashback, which is cool, and 7.1 surround sound, which is even better because sometimes you need surround sound. The Amazon bundle for both the motherboard and the CPU came in at £406.96. However, there is a little bit of a slight worry on this one because the listing states that it's the Wi-Fi edition of this particular board, but all the pictures and then one piece of text in the listing actually states that it's just the non-Wi-Fi edition. So with this, I also purchased some DDR5 and I got a little bit overexcited and already opened it because I just wanted to see what the differences were. This is non-RGB. This is the Crucial Pro DDR5 RAM kit, and it consists of 2 16GB sticks, giving me 32 gigs in total. These run at 6,000 megatransfers at CL36. It's not the fastest RAM, but will do the job for what I need. They're XMP and Expo compliant, so will be overclockable, and this little pack here came in at £80.98, so really good deal. And finally, I wanted to have a fast NVMe drive, so I purchased this. This is the ORICO, the ORICO O7000 2TB NVMe. Now, it says it's got advertised read speeds of 7,000 megabytes a second and write speeds of 6,500 megabytes a second. So this could be potentially lightning fast. And it came with a really good price of $95.99. So I'm going to install this into one of the 4x4 NVMe slots because there's no point putting it in a Gen 5 because it's not going to get the best out of its speeds, so I'm going to put it in a 4x4. When I put this together, I'm also going to install the RTX 4060 just so that I can see what it's like when it comes to gaming, etc. I'm also going to be using this cooler to cool it, an air cooler for a change. This is the Thermalright Peerless Assassin 120 Black. And I think this will go with the wonderful aesthetic of non-RGB because these are just pure black. We have no RGB on our RAM because that's just pure black as well. And there's no RGB on the motherboard, so it's going to look absolutely awesome, all blacked out. So with all the parts, let's get building and let's have a look at putting this all together. And I'm going to run some benchmarks such as OCCT for 30 minutes on a CPU intense workload to see how we perform. I'm also going to test this NVMe to see if it does the advertised speeds as said on the website itself. So let's get building. Okay everyone, so Windows installed, it works absolutely fine. I ran the benchmarks and you'll see some images now. Firstly, the ORICO O7000 2TB SSD in there was advertised with 7,000 reads and 6,500 writes. I can tell you now that it was 7,349 megabytes of reads and it was 6,512 megabytes of writes. So as advertised, if not a tiny bit more. I think that's all down to the cooling that's on there. When you open that particular NVMe, you actually get a small cooler that you can clip on, but I'm putting it under this, so it's perfectly fine. Now, sticking the RTX 4060 Ti on here, this particular machine performed really, really well. You'll notice that on the benchmark run, that the GPU telemetry isn't working, and for some strange reason, it kind of reports 2 or 3 different graphics drivers, or graphics cards should I say, and I think when I set up the MSI Afterburner, I set the wrong graphics card up, so I'm not sure what I did. However, I can tell you that TimeSpy did work really well. It's the highest I've ever got the frame rates at 90 plus frames per second when running through the entirety of TimeSpy. You can see that we're actually running Speedway behind me, and I put this on its highest setting and it's running at 20 frames per second, so really, really good. The final score on TimeSpy was 12,951. Which again is the highest score that I've ever benchmarked. So really good for that particular card that's in here now. It works really, really well. The cooler that I put on here is fabulous. It's not even warm to the touch. It's still lukewarm. I can feel hot air coming out the back, but the cooler itself, to touch, doesn't even feel as though there's anything happening. I ran OCCT, and when I've run that previously, I've never noticed that there was a benchmark button, but that's probably just me not looking properly. But I saw a benchmark button, so I ran the benchmarks on that one. First of all, I ran a CPU benchmark where I got on single cores, it scored it as 107, and on multi-threading it got 878. So that is really good scoring for this particular CPU, which is the 7700X. All in all, I think purchasing the bundle with the processor and the motherboard at £400 was a really good buy. Then the RAM at £80 and the NVMe at 95. So coming out at around about 580 quid is not too bad for what I bought. Obviously you're going to need a case. I have a graphics card, so really what you could do is upgrade the platform and get your old graphics card and your old case and bang it in there, and it should work absolutely fine. Great performance, great price, and hopefully you've taken something away from this video and you've learned something. And with that, please feel free to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Then you can be notified about all my new videos. And until next time, I'll see you all later.